I've been doing music my entire life. I grew up in East Texas, and my parents kind of recognized that I was able to memorize lyrics pretty well, and I could actually carry a tune, and I could learn songs really quickly, and they liked listening to country music, so I performed at like local country music shows. I was little, and people thought it was cute that I was singing about, who knows what I was singing about, my woman leaving me, and my dad ended up working construction for a guy in Branson, Missouri, and he owned a theater in Branson, and so we would go up there in the summers, and I would actually perform there. And that eventually led to me moving there, and I got to perform with some big name sort of classic country music people like Loretta Lynn and folks like that, and performed on her show for several years. And that was really cool experience. But because of that, I've always known, growing up around musicians and learning so much about music and learning to play different instruments and things like that, and sort of really just learning about musicianship in general. It's just sort of in my blood. I've never not been interested in music, but I can't remember a time when I was not interested in music.
I can remember whenever I lived the second semester of college, so that was back in 2005, the first album that you guys ever did, but it was just kind of a demo or something. And I remember when I found out it was y'all, I was just kind of blown away, because no one I know had even, not only did I do music like that, like write songs and write music, but definitely didn't have it on a CD. I didn't think that was possible for people our age or anything. And then just listening to that, I was blown away. And even though, if we went back to and listened to that music now, and just like, the quality, I think back then may not have been, but it was still just fantastic and just excellent. And so then, I transitioned to a few years later when it was Tune In Tomorrow, even that new style that you guys were doing, and then you came and played a concert at John Brown University, and then we were even doing a documentary. And I remember one part of the documentary had your song playing in the background, and I was so interested in listening to that music that I forget even what the part of the documentary. It was a kind of a cool part in the documentary, but just I was so like, oh, that's their new music, and I just really, that was just incredible.
This record is about several things, but really it's about, for me personally, one specific thing, and that's getting married. And it's about getting married and sort of that whole, and sort of the time leading up to getting married and that kind of thing. And a lot of it focuses on sort of the struggles that come with that, and sort of the struggles that my wife and I went through together and everything. And so anyway, it's kind of an honest record.
He's grown a lot in life in general. He's been through more experiences and gotten married, and so there's just a lot to write about, and I think it comes out in his music beautifully. And the way that he has written the lyrics is specific enough, because I know a lot of the stories, and I know, so I can get it a little bit more that, oh, this song is about fill in the blank. But I think to people that just hear the music, they can fill in the blank for themselves, because it's specific to him, but it's a little vague to other listeners. So basically people can relate to it, and that's always, I think that's really important for musicians and for listening to music in general. You want to be able to feel the music and be a part of the music and be a part of the song. And I think that is portrayed beautifully in his new style.
Face down with the end inside, the dark hearts of the darkest nights. Oh, sure as there's a hell, I'm sure as hell gonna fight this fight.
This digital age that we live in with music is, and I've said this before, but it's made us, it's made it easier for musicians and artists to get their stuff out there and get it heard by people. But it makes it a lot harder to be taken seriously, because everyone is a musician on the internet. You know, everyone is a photographer on the internet. It goes for lots of different types of art. And this music that I'm writing is definitely the best music I've ever written. I've never been more excited about music that I've been a part of than I am with this stuff. And I think my worst fear is if no one ever hears it, you know. And you know, and there's a good chance it will happen. You know, I mean, like I will try hard to make that not the case, but I think that's something that every musician that really wants to make a living at it and that really deserves or is good enough to make a living at it struggles with, is that sort of reality that as good as you are, it doesn't really matter. You may never be heard by anyone, you know, and it's scary, but at the same time, I'm kind of okay with it because I know that isn't necessarily what matters. What matters is that I was given this ability, and as long as I'm able to use it in some way, it's therapy for me, and hopefully people can relate to it. And as long as I'm able to you know, brighten someone's day or help someone or really just sort of get it out of me, you know, in some way, then I'm more than happy.
It's like real personal to the listener, even though, you know, my favorite thing is just try and figure out what you're writing about or what the song's about and stuff. And I always feel like even though it's something that means a lot to you, I'm included in that. Whoever the listener is included in that.
The whole point behind Jamboree is to sort of be honest and be sort of endearing, but at the same time, for the music to sort of have sort of a quirky feel to it and that kind of thing, and kind of be fun. And that was sort of what I originally intended to do, but some of the songs are probably wouldn't classify as that. There are some more straightforward songs and things like that. Like this one that was recorded today is going to be the title track, and it's called So Much, and the album's called So Much. And and that's actually specifically about proposing in New York.
It's impossible to pursue your dreams in a marriage if your spouse doesn't support you in it.
I have the most wonderful wife in the world, and I can't think of any possible way I could be any more blessed or fortunate, because we both work hard, and we're both sort of in this point in life where we're trying to figure out what it is we want to do exactly, and where we want to be, where we want to settle down, and all that kind of stuff. And she's just the most supportive person. But she's more supportive than I could ever hope or ask for as far as music and things like that go. She's encouraging. She believes in it as much as I do. Lyrically and musically, I've never been more proud of anything that I've come up with. And so I think that I'm excited for people to hear it. I can't wait for people to hear it.
It's like, is he ahead of Megan Fox? Yes. But Zac Efron's up there, and I'm not sure he's surpassed that level. Does that make sense? Between a Megan Fox and a Zac Efron.